I have a feeling that someone needs to hear this message today. Stick around for this week's weekly wisdom. Hello, my friends, and welcome. You are listening to the Manifest on Purpose show. It is an honor and a pleasure to be your host. My name is Kimbaley. I just help you elevate your mind to a higher state of consciousness. Thank you so much for coming here to get this knowledge and wisdom. Thank you for loving the people you care about so much that you've chosen to share it with them. And thank you for subscribing here and on the website at Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. And you know why I do everything that I do. It's because the God in me loves the God in you. Today is going to be our weekly wisdom segment. We're going to get into that, what the weekly wisdom is all about. But before we do, we're going to find out what we can expect from our Astro-Numerology forecast. And that's going to be courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. It is Sunday, August the 18th. The sun is still in Leo, the moon is in Capricorn, and will be moving into Aquarius at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're in Mercury retrograde. It's a 7 universal month, a 1 universal week, and a 7 universal day. Your degree of success today depends upon your degree of concentration and, more importantly, observation. That's only because the things you may need or should know are not on the surface in plain sight, but hidden within. In essence, it's not so much of what others may say to you, rather than what is omitted in the conversation. Cancer, Pisces, and those born on the 2nd, 7th, 11th, 16th, 20th, 25th, and 29th of the month should be able to pick up on this easily. Once again, this is the Astro-Numerology forecast, courtesy of Astro-Numerologist LLoyd Strayhorn and the Star 8 mobile numerology app. You can get your forecast every single day. Go to astar8.com. That's ASTAR, the number 8.com. Or you can get it on Google Play or the App Store, or you can go to linktree/numbers and you to check out some of his additional exclusive services and products. Because we're in a 7 universal month, you may find yourself soul searching. You want to know the deeper meaning of life. You want to know what's hidden beneath the surface of your very own life. There are gifts and talents there just waiting for you to reveal them and put them to use in your very own life. In order to get deep beneath the surface of your life and discover who you are, get your Astro-Numerology reports or a personal Astro-Numerology reading, and you can get all of that on Kimbaley, KIMBALEY.com. Now, let's get into this week's weekly wisdom. Before we get into the weekly wisdom for this week, for the benefit of those who are listening for the very first time, the weekly wisdom is where I read the energy of the week to determine what we should be focused on this week and to determine what we can expect for the week. I do this using oracle cards, and the deck that I'm using today is Money and the Law of Attraction cards. and it's by Esther and Jerry Hicks. This is the same deck that I've been using since the beginning of this, and I will also be reading the numbers on the cards so that we can find out what this week's energy signal is and what we should be focusing on. So today I pull card number 58. Card number 58 adds up to 13-4. We're going to break that down a little bit later, but first I'm going to read the card to you. And the title of the card is I Can Earn Money by Doing What I Love to Do. And the card reads, as you practice your more positive, better feeling story, in time, your pleasure will become the dominant vibration within you. And then, as you couple your pleasure with your means of earning, the two will blend perfectly and enhance each other. There is no better way to earn money than to do things you love to do. Money can flow into your experience through endless avenues. It is not the choice of the craft that limits the money that flows, but only your attitude towards money. First, I would just like to say that I feel that there are so many people that need to hear this message because I feel like this is something that so many people struggle with. They think to themselves, should they make the safe choice, which guarantees a certain amount of money, or should they follow their heart and their passion and do what they love the most, even though the security seems not to be in that space? A lot of people are struggling with this because of how society is now. As a whole, most people are seeking a sense of security. And when you follow your dreams, there's a stigma there that says there's no real stability there. And a case like this could be someone that decides that they want to go to school to become an attorney or maybe even a doctor against doing something that they're passionate about, such as becoming an artist or becoming a musician, because they just don't know if it's safe enough for them, or they just don't know if that area may provide security for them. And I know that also a lot of people that are in the spiritual businesses, they go through this too, because they have to wonder about if they leave their real job and try to work towards their passion, is it going to be secure enough for them? A lot of people have this thought in their mind, and to be honest with you, there are a lot of people that stick with the existing programming of going for what seems to be more secure to them while suppressing what brings them joy. Can you imagine that? A person may very well have this job that many other people would love to have, but they go to work every single day and they're unhappy and they're unsatisfied and unmotivated. However, there's things in the background, those hidden talents I told you about, some of those things deep within that are crying out, wanting to have space and opportunity in their lives. But because they've been programmed to continue to go the most secure way, they decide to go with that instead of what brings them joy and what makes them happy. Sometimes, if people would stop to think about these things, they'll see that it does not make a whole lot of sense. For example, sometimes the most secure way involves a lot of limitations. My grandfather used to say, the shortest route is not always the quickest route. And really, what I take that to mean is sometimes the things that you think are sure are not as sure as what you believe them to be. So you have to pay attention to those things that your heart is calling out for, and you have to follow your heart. The one important thing that you should know is that money is an energy that has the potential to transform into the type of energy that you hold. And the interesting thing about that is I give the same example for children. A lot of people think that because children can't speak or they can't voice their opinion at a certain age or they can't express themselves, they feel as if the child doesn't know what's going on, but that child is picking up the energy in the environment. It's the same thing about money. It can't speak, it can't hear, but it's picking up on the vibration of the energy that you have when you accept it into your life. Now, if you're working at one of these jobs and you're getting paid and you feel like that you don't like that job, you're unhappy there, you have that unhappy energy that is going to be transferred into that money that you collect. And what that money that you collect will go on to do is to create more of those energy and vibrations in your life. So, this is something that you need to understand about money. It is an energy just like everything else. So if you're doing something that you love, when that money comes in, it means so much more to you. You value it more. You do more responsible things with it. And I don't know where all this information is coming from today. I guess it's coming from Jeannie, but I'm just going to let Jeannie have her way today because, like I said, I feel as if someone really needs to hear this. But you have to be mindful of the energy that you're in when you take money into your life and the energy that you are in when you disperse money. Yes, we're going to go there too because there are a lot of times when people may request money from some people and that person, you know how you can tell when a person really don't want to do anything for you, they just go ahead and do it anyway just because they can, but you know that their heart is not really in it. There may be those people that say, well, at least I did sow a seed. It takes me back to that Bible scripture in Matthew 13 when it talks about some seeds can fall among the thorns and the weeds, and they will grow up and choke these good plants. It will choke these seeds and won't allow them to grow. So even if you're sowing a seed and it's not coming from your heart, there's still a harvest there that you may not want to collect. The point is, abundance in general is a cycle, it's a flow, it's no ending or no beginning. And that cycle requires harmony and balance. And the way to find that harmony and balance is through joy. So when you do the things that you love to do and you're not focused about the money, it will come because at that point your vibrations are so high that you're pretty much blocking off anything negative that can come in and limit what you create. So since I talk about create, let me go ahead and jump into that number, the 13-4. When we look at 13, 13 is a compound number. And the reason why it is a compound number is because any number from after 1 through 9 that has double digits, it is considered to be a compound number. 13 is a compound number that has a root of 4. That means the basic foundation, and it's crazy that I say foundation because 4 is all about foundations, but the basic foundation of the 13 is 4. And the responsibility of the 4, one of the responsibilities of the 4, the most important function of the 4 is to be a builder. And in this case, we can be talking about multiple things. One of the most important things that I need for you to understand that you should be building at this point is happiness and joy in your life. And in order to build those things, you know that you're going to have to start doing the things that brings that joy and happiness into your life. This is a money card, a financial card. I don't want to make it all about finances. However, this is also saying this may be a time to focus on building finances. And the 13-4 is an interesting number because the 13 represents power and dominion. This is what's said about this number. It represents the death card, and it says that those who understand the 13 is given power and dominion, but that if wrongly used will wreak destruction upon itself. Now, to me, when I think about this 13, and I know that we're talking about finances in this point, this is talking about the building of your finances. It's letting you know that you need to transform the way you think and the way that you speak. In regards to financial matters, number one is the intellectual, and number three is creative expression. Both the one and three are leadership numbers, so you need to take the lead in how you speak and think about your financial matters. In terms of the way you speak about financial matters, one of the things that I urge you to stay away from is this word because I do not like it at all. I won't even say it. It rhymes with croak but begins with B. Just listening to that word does not sound right at all. But what I'm trying to get you to understand and what this 13-4 is saying is whatever you speak, you are giving power to it. So don't speak things that you don't want to happen in your life. Just a side note here, when it talks about the creation story in the Bible, if you'll notice, every time God created something, he spoke the word and it was so. What you say matters. So basically, that's the weekly wisdom for this week. I want you to focus on if you're doing the things that really bring you happiness and joy into your life. And if you're not, what are you doing it for? And if you find that you're not doing things that bring you happiness and joy, it's time for you to go back to number 4, create a strategy, build a plan so that you can work your way towards that, because that's when life will truly get easier for you. That's not to say that what you've been programmed to do is not going to bring you a lot of revenue. What it's saying is once that revenue comes in, how happy will you be with yourself? You can have all the money in the world and still be unhappy. So focus on a plan, if this is you, to kind of get out of that stage of being afraid, because sometimes it's just fear. When we step out of a program or are trying to step out of a program, sometimes fear sets in because you're walking into the unknown. You're doing something that for so many years you have not done before. But the beautiful thing about it is you don't know what's on the other side of fear. There's opportunity on the other side of the fear. And I'm saying take your time, take it easy, ease into it. You don't have to jump up and do things all at once, but your goal and your game plan is to get to the things that you love to do. After all, this is life. I feel like we're here to evolve, but at the same time, we're here to be happy as well. And how can you be happy if you're not doing the things that brings happiness and joy into your life? If you're not sure what that thing is yet, use this week to find out what that thing really is. maybe you should get in contact with me, get your numerology reports, or get a one on one reading so that you can discover what your purpose is. You need to follow your purpose. Because, see, that's another thing about the four, too. Number four is love projects. However, those projects have to be something that interests them, and it has to be something that brings them joy and happiness too. So that's one thing you can consider. Now, let's just say if you're one of those persons that say, "Oh, I got it all figured out. I'm doing what brings me joy. I'm doing what makes me happy." Then in your plan, you need to be creating a strategy for how to keep this thing growing, how to keep moving forward, how to keep this thing exciting enough to continue to motivate on your journey. If you find yourself in that state and you're still having questions financially, then it's time for you to determine, how do you look at finances? Do you look at money as an energy? How do you talk about it? How do you think about it? And you need to change that perspective to be in alignment with what you already do. I'm wishing you a wonderful week ahead. I love you to life. This is how you manifest on purpose.